Good morning, good morning. Got the crock pot on this morning. One less job for Mumsy tonight. Nice bit of hino pork in there. A few kumara. Bit of honey and some herbs and spices. Gonna be glorious when we get home tonight. Hey, wowos. Not a bad morning. A little bit overcast, but the weather forecast reckons she's going to be an absolute pearler of a day. Might even end up being too hot for the dogs. I got my nephew headed out this morning. He's coming out from town. We're going to go for a little day hunt. Going to take both dogs. I've been hunting them separately for the last few weeks because Fern, her whole life's been allowed to chase deer, and she's generally quite efficient at catching them, but I'm not too keen on Skyzy girl getting into that habit. We'll try and keep her as a pig dog, pigs only, and my trusty 44, which I've got to say is one of my prized possessions. If you're looking for a bush rifle, these things are magic. I always only have 2 or 3 bullets on the stock and never ever loaded, only loaded if something's happening in front of me. I took the little scope of my partner's air rifle and chucked it on here. That's probably ready for renewal because all the caps are busted off. The back end split, but she still seems to be aiming in the right place, so that's good. But yeah, beautiful little rifle, nice and solid, and if I'm not aiming it at things, it's my walking stick. Beautiful day. Just got to the top of the track we've been climbing. One velvety hill so far. Hey Fern! Fern! We're about to drop down into a stream because the day's getting hot. And hopefully pick up some pig sign on the way down. Heading out yonder. Should be an hour or 2 and then down into the creek. And see what the decision is from then on. So we're just dropping down that gut on our way to find the dogs because they're long gone. I could smell venison and there's a hind feeding on this little slip. So I shot her and she ran down and collapsed in that pool of water. The dogs are a long way off, so Zave's gonna cut the back stakes out, maybe a back leg, and I'm gonna go find the wobbles. I've got to climb a huge hill and then see what they're up to. It's lovely. What a life we live. Ew! Absolute stunner. Bush, bush for Africa. Loving life. On top of some rather steep country. So the nephew Zave, he's down in the creek dealing to the hind we got down in there. I've just climbed up to get comms with the dogs, who are in no man's land like always. I'll learn one day. Might not be able to hunt those two together ever again, because they seem to like doing their own thing, and they are way back. But we got comms on them, which is good, and they haven't got anything, so we'll just wait and see if they start heading back down. Otherwise, I'll be heading up, and we have got a long way to go to get to the top. So yeah, fingers crossed they come back down, then I can head down this steep little spur I've just climbed up back into the creek and have a catch up with Zave. And then by the looks of it, we can meander our way down the creek out into the flat stuff, and if the dogs have enough energy, we might pick up a bit of pork down there. So the doggos have done a humongous loop, and they've hit our scent, so hopefully they'll backtrack along that down into the creek where Xavier's cutting up our venison. We'll go down and see how the young fella's getting on. Yeah, I'll make my way down slowly so I can keep an eye on the GPS and make sure the dogs do come back down to us. Then we'll have a bit of a regroup and mosey on down the creek. Never been down this one before, and there was a humongous amount of ongonga where we ended up with the deer just below me. So we'll see how that goes. If there's too much of it, we might end up pushing up and just sidling a bit higher. And yeah, see what the Arvo brings. The young fella's done well. Got our 2 back stakes and a couple of legs hanging up in a nice cool breeze. The doggos deserve a bloody hiding. Mischief mutts. And let the meat cool down for another 10-15 minutes. Bone out the back legs, and off we go. The big fella. Good to go, Skysy. Come on, Gil. Might come back and get you tomorrow. Enjoying that bone, eh, Gil? What about you, Mischief? Pretty incredible, eh? In a teeny tiny stream in the middle of nowhere, and we've got a pair of blueies. Just spooked both of them down here. And his wahini's under this rock. It is breeding season, so they might have a nest close by. Hopefully they do well and get some ducklings on the water. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Well, this has been the day so far. Oodles and oodles of sign, but nothing fresh. Haven't come across bugger all freshness. Pig sign everywhere. Can't go 100 metres without bumping into heaps of plough and nosing. We came across 2 beds up on a sunny spur, and that's where the dogs tracked off on their first good run. There was a little nest under a rata tree, and they boosted from there, and that's when they went AWOL. But other than that, the pig sign's there, it's just all old. No shortage of it. So we'll keep trucking on. We're about 30 minutes from the main track, and then about an hour back to the car, all going to plan from there. But yeah, the dogs have tracked off from this little opening, but whether they're chasing another venison or onto some pig scent, I'm not sure. I haven't found a mark or any fresh sign yet, so I'm not a hundy. Still glorious. We found some fresher stuff. The dogs got pretty keen and they've tracked off up the hill. Cross those fingers, big bail up. So we lucked out on the freshest sign we came across. Let the dogs spend a good 20 minutes. And they were just circling around and around and around, but they never ventured too far. So that was a shame. But yeah, even that stuff looked like it might have had a bit of rain on it. One hole definitely looked a lot fresher than the rest, which the dogs were pretty keen on. And we've just hit the main track. It's 5:30 in the arvo, and hopefully as things cool down we might get a bit of wind dropping off the hills as we walk the last hour back to the car. So, still a possibility. Fernie girl got ripped up along this stretch 2 months ago. She tracked off by herself and got onto a big boy, and I took a bit too long. And she came back with a couple of holes and a big slice in her leg. Poor girl nearly had her guts ripped out and her bloody leg chopped off, so wasn't that flash. Yeah, so 1 more hour of cruising along a good track. Watch the dogs, see if they get any wind, and keep our fingers crossed for that last minute porky pig. And that's us. Whew. Basically at the end of our big hikoi. The young Nephew done well. She was a hell of a loop. Definitely got my legs talking about it, that's for sure. The dogs are exhausted. I'm exhausted. We'll see what the young fella reckons when we catch up to him at the vehicle. No pork today. That's alright. Did manage to score a skinny hind. We've got 2 day packs full of meat. Put them in the fridge for a few days and into it. Cracked it with the weather. It was quite nice to go and do a loop that I haven't done before. The creek we ended up in was beautiful. Heaps of wildlife around, so that was cool. Surprising amount of deer sign in that creek that we were in. And yeah, once again a phenomenal amount of pig sign. I just couldn't make it stick. But that's hunting. Temperature's definitely dropped off. 10 more minutes of plodding and bet the vehicle. Go home for a hot meal, see how the crock pot's getting on. Looking forward to that one. Hopefully we'll crack life with that bad boy too. Be delicious.